Hey everybody, this has been Loope. In this video, we'll be discussing the top 5 reasons you should not be using your vehicle's horn. Stick around for number 1. I feel like it's the best reason for me to not use my horn. First off, let's just discuss what's the horn for, which seems kind of elementary, but a lot of people don't realize, I think, they use it for stuff that shouldn't be used for. It's not for when the green light or the traffic light's red and it goes green and somebody doesn't move fast enough, so you beep the horn and let them know move faster. That's not what it's there for. The horn is only there for a way to alert people around you, hopefully the other driver that may be doing something wrong, to stop whatever it is they're doing to prevent an accident, right? So ultimately it's there to try to prevent an accident. When does a horn actually work? Generally it's at slower speeds, 5 miles per hour and less. So we're talking about parking lot stuff, traffic lights, stop signs, or stuck in traffic. So you're at a very slow pace, and generally it's someone not paying attention or doing something wrong, and they're going to hit something else, someone else, and there's no way to avoid it because everybody's kind of stuck where they're at. So you can beep the horn and try to stop that from happening. But that's a very small amount of instances where this comes into play. Once you start to get to speed, that 5 miles an hour and up, that's where the horn becomes less and less useful. Reason number 5 that you should not use your horn. Now, the horn doesn't work. A lot of cars, especially in older cars, the older they get, the more often you see the horn just doesn't work anymore. Whatever that may be, there's a multitude of reasons that cause the horn to stop working, but it stops working. So you're driving a vehicle, so you know your steering's working, your braking's working, your accelerating's working, watching your mirrors, things like that. Use those things to avoid the accident as opposed to try to use the horn to make the other person avoid the accident. You just avoid the accident. Reason number 4. A majority of the time that you're going to use the horn, it's just going to aggravate everybody. It's going to aggravate everybody. It's going to irritate people. That is not only the person that you're beeping at, but ultimately it's probably going to irritate you also, because a majority of the time that you beep your horn, the person you're beeping at that is, in your opinion, doing something stupid, in their mind, either they were just so vacant they don't realize what they did at all, or they are in the right and they 100% believe that you're in the wrong for beeping at them, and what they're doing driving wise is perfect. Nothing else should have changed. So then they get mad at you because you beep the horn, and then you get mad at them because they got mad at you, and why don't they know any better, and you should know better, and back and forth and back and forth. So to prevent stress for you and them, just don't beep the horn. You'll avoid the wreck. You do whatever you got to do to avoid this incident, whatever it is. Separate yourself from that person, get yourself some distance, and you go home at night, brag to your significant other or your kids or your parents and go, you ain't gonna believe what I did today. This person was so crazy, and I did this, I got on the brakes and I barely missed them, or they barely missed me, or whatever, how it would happen, and you just got the bragging rights. You sleep good that night, as opposed to the other direction where you beep the horn and they flip you off and they cuss at you and they beat back at you and tell you you're wrong, and then you're at home, I can't believe this jackwagon was acting like it was my fault, they did this. Without question, you just reacting and not beeping the horn is going to be a far less stressful situation than beeping the horn. Reason number 3. If you decide that beeping the horn is something you got to do, a large majority of the time, you're still going to have to put input into your car to avoid the incident you're beeping the horn for. So you're going to have to steer, move out of the lane a little bit, or whatever it may be, to avoid this person coming into your lane, or pulling out of a driveway, or whatever it is they're doing. Or you're going to have to get on the brakes, or you're going to have to accelerate to get away from them. Whatever it may be that you're going to have to do to put input in the car, you're going to have to do that whether you beep the horn or not. So you might as well just focus on putting the proper inputs into your vehicle and avoiding the incident altogether. And like reason number 4, now you don't have the added stress of them getting mad at you because you beeped at them. You just avoided it altogether, and you don't have to deal with that person anymore. Reason number 2, you don't want the kind of person this is that you're beeping at. could be a real jerk. You're ultimately escalating the situation by beeping the horn when you could just avoid whatever the situation is. There's always a possibility that the horn is the only thing you got, again, like I talked about in those slow moving situations. If you beep your horn at some mean person, let's just put it that way, that doesn't mind getting in trouble with the law or whatever it may be, you don't know what they might do. They may pull out a weapon. They may use their vehicle as a weapon and really escalate the situation because, again, they feel like they're the ones in the right. So now you've really, because you beeped the horn and said just avoiding this person, never having to deal with them again, now you've got to deal with them in a multitude of ways, and hopefully it's not in a way that could danger your life. There's a multitude of ways that could end. Just, you don't know what kind of person you're dealing with in that other car, so just avoid the situation altogether by out-driving the person that's doing stupid things. I know I would much rather be at home at night telling my wife how I avoided this wreck as opposed to being dead in this serial killer's cooler or freezer. Reason number one, the final reason, and the reason that kind of helps me the most in preventing me from using my horn for a majority of things. And that is, again, like two, you don't know what kind of person is you're dealing with in that other car that may have done something stupid. And for a whole different reason than number two, in number one, you don't know what's going on in their life. Maybe this person is a little distracted. Maybe this person just found out their husband or their wife just died, or their mother or father just died, or God forbid one of their children just died, or some bad thing has happened and they're at the hospital and they're trying to get to that significant other, and they obviously weren't as focused on driving as they normally would be, and they made a mistake, but you decided to escalate the situation and beep at them. And did that really help them at all? It definitely didn't help them, and it generally, like we discussed in these other reasons, it generally doesn't help you. And so this person has just had some life-changing event, and they're just not focused on driving at hand. They made a little mistake. Could be they just left the doctor's office and they just found out they're diagnosed with terminal cancer. Maybe them getting in your lane a little bit isn't quite as important as you thought it was. So that, for me, is a big factor on why I don't think it's, a majority of the time, there's no need in using your vehicle's horn. That's my top 5 reasons why I don't think you should use your vehicle's horn, at least a large majority of the time. If you agree or disagree, throw it down in the comments. See what you think, your opinions on that. I'm happy to answer anything, any questions or anything like that. Appreciate you guys watching. God bless. Have a good one.